Hi guys, this is Amanda, and this is my submission for the Surthrival Colostrum recipe contest. Today I'm going to share with you guys how to make superfood mac and cheese. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so the ingredients you'll need for this recipe, basically for me, this recipe is going to be gluten-free. I'm using, instead of macaroni, I'm using cauliflower that has been roughly chopped, about 2 cups worth. But if you don't have any gluten sensitivity, you're okay with grains, go ahead, you can use your, obviously your macaroni, whichever you prefer. But I'm using cauliflower for this recipe, so go ahead and pick your preference. And then we're going to do about 2 tablespoons of an organic tahini. You can also use cashew butter for this recipe. I'm using tahini. I like the earthiness, the body it brings out. It adds a really nice flavor profile to the macaroni. And then our cheese, I chose Gruyere. This is about, I would say about 1/2 cup's worth. Raw Gruyere from a local farmer, 1 pastured egg, and of course the star of the recipe, colostrum from Surthrival. This is 1/4 cup. Also, I'm adding some more superfoods into this recipe along with the colostrum. So this is about 1 teaspoon of maca, gelatinized maca, and then 1 teaspoon of turmeric extract. And as you can see, the turmeric extract is very, very vivid, vivid orange color, very bright, very powerful. Love this stuff. And then of course, Celtic sea salt to taste, and the wonderful Surthrival ghee. Look how beautiful it is. And you're going to cook it all up in a nice cast iron pan or whatever you have on hand. So you can obviously play with the quantity of the ingredients depending on your flavor profile, what you like, what you don't like. If you don't tolerate dairy too well, you can substitute out the cheese for nutritional yeast or use a cheese substitute. But play with the recipe, see what you like, and you can obviously mold it to however you like. Okay, so I'm going to show you now how to cook it up, and I'll walk you on over to the stove. Okay, so over here we have our ghee melting in a skillet, and I'm going to let that kind of just spread around. And then I'm going to add the 2 cups of cauliflower. There we go. And just, saute it really nicely, get it nice and browned. Move it around, get all the flavor all spread out throughout the cauliflower. And something else I should have mentioned in the ingredient list, I also like to add about 1/3 cup of shaga tea, which I have brewing over here. Beautiful. We harvested it up north. If you don't have any shaga tea, you can also substitute that for some nice bone broth, which is really good if you have that on hand. Or if you don't have that, you can obviously just use water. That's fine. So I'm just going to add about 1/3 cup of shaga tea to that mixture. And just kind of move it around. And you're going to want to cook this until it is nice and tender and steamed. So it'll take about a good 20 minutes to a half hour, depending on how high of a heat you use. So right now, I'm just going to let it kind of hang out. I might adjust the liquid ratio, add a little more shaga tea, or add whatever liquid you prefer. And just kind of keep an eye on it, see how it's doing. So for now, I'm just going to cover it. Let it kind of sit and steam a bit. And we'll come back and check on it in about 10 minutes. Okay, so this is about 15 minutes in, and I'm cooking this right now at fairly medium to high temp, so it cooked a lot faster. It's nice al dente, and that's the way I like it, so I'm not going to do much more cooking to it. If you like it a little more tender, you can go ahead and cook it longer. I did not add any more liquid to this batch, so as you can see, it's nice golden brown. So I'm going to reduce the heat, and now I'm going to add our 1 pastured egg. Put it in there, and I'm just going to whip it up really fast. And at this point, I'm just going to turn the heat off completely and just let the heat on the pan just cook it all. So mix it up really well, and now I'm going to add about a pinch of the sea salt. You could add more depending on your flavor preference. Just mix that all in. And then I'm going to add the 2 tablespoons of the tahini. There we go. And right now I'm just going to cover it and allow the heat to melt it. And then we'll come back and see how it all looks. So just put the cover on, let it sit for about 5 minutes, let the heat kind of melt that nut butter, and we'll see the progress. Okay, so the tahini melted really nicely. I wanted to add just a tad bit more creaminess to the recipe, so I added about a 1/4 cup of coconut milk. You could add regular raw milk if you'd like. I don't have any on hand, so I just went for the coconut milk. So about a 1/4 cup, just to really bring the creaminess all together. And now I'm going to add the raw Gruyere cheese. There we go. Mix that in. I like to add it at the end and not during the cooking period on the stove, just because I really don't like to cook dairy at all, and I want to keep all the heat stable or heat sensitive nutrients intact in the cheese, so I add it more towards the end. That also goes with the superfoods and colostrum I'm about to add. I'm leaving it at more warm, not scorching hot, so none of those good nutrients are compromised. So I'm going to go ahead now and add the turmeric extract, the maca, and then the wonderful Surthrival Colostrum. Okay, and at this point it's getting a little gummy, as you can see, so I'm actually going to go ahead and add even more coconut milk to the recipe, and then I'm going to put it in a nice bowl and show you guys the finished result. Okay, so here is the finished product. Like I said, I did add a little bit more coconut milk, so total amount would be about a 1/2 cup, and definitely even sprinkling a little nutritional yeast on here will really bring out the flavor, so you can give that a try. And I just put a little parsley on top for garnish, and you guys can enjoy. So here is my recipe for the Superfood Mac and Cheese, all thanks to the wonderful Surthrival Colostrum. Bon appetit!